when you first run from the program, they take your shoes so you won't run. But I didn't like it there so much that I just ran anyway without my shoes. And so I went to my friend's house, and a couple of my other friends were there, and I wound up getting in a fight with them. And they left, and they called, and I was talking on the phone with them, like screaming at them, and I wound up hanging up. And then I get a knock on the door, and I peek out the curtain just a little bit, and I see a cop standing at the door. So I run out of the room, and I go up the stairs, and I hide in a closet and pile a bunch of cardboard boxes in front of me. So I'm just sitting there on the floor, bawling my eyes out, like, oh my God, I'm gonna get caught. I went through all this time, and it was for nothing. So I hear the footsteps of the cops coming up the stairs, and I couldn't take it anymore. I didn't want to hide anymore. I was just so fed up with it that I jumped out of the closet, and I said, just take me. I don't want to hide anymore. I'll go back. So I'm back at the program. I eventually earned my shoes back, and I ran again. And I was gone for about 6 months, and I started to get more scared because I saw my pictures everywhere, and I was all over the internet. Everybody was looking for me. Everybody was emailing me on Facebook and like emailing me and saying like, where are you? Are you okay? And I was reassuring everybody saying, yeah, I'm fine. Like, I'm healthy, you know, everything's good. And I started to think maybe I should just turn myself in because it would be the best thing to do. So I'm talking to my friend, he's kind of talking me out of it, and then next thing I know, I found out I'm pregnant. So I decided to turn myself in, and I did, and I decided to just make the right choice because that would be best for me and for my kid. So I wound up at a new program, and I'm actually doing really good, and I got my shoes back. So I learned the hard way not to run.
Hi, so I'm Jeff Lacasse, and this is the story about how I learned the hard way. So everyone's first car is awesome. When you get your first car, you know, you really get a feel for it. You feel the engine out, you know, you play with all the new buttons, you know, have the stereo up, man, like the things I'm gonna do in this car, man, the chicks I'm gonna pick up in this vehicle. It's a blast. But anyway, I bought my first car in New Hampshire. Real nice dealership, real nice people. After I finished up the paperwork, I'm like, all right, you know, and they gave me the keys, and I sprinted with joy to my car. And this is where I started to get a little bit distracted. Me, I'm horrible with directions. I have no idea. I can't get around town without getting lost. I have a hard time going to school, and I live like 10 feet away. So I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, my mom drove me here, she's going to drive me back, but I forgot to think about, we have 2 cars now, and there's 2 people, so we got to both drive. So lucky she had this great idea, well, we'll just talk on speakerphone on the phones, and I'll just lead you the way. So I'm like, all right, wonderful, we'll just do that. And that was a good idea. So we're about 5 minutes in, it's working really nice until we get to this one stoplight. And she's pretty far ahead of me, she's a fast driver, and I want to drive aggressively. And she goes, it's green when she gets past it. When I get to it, it's red, so I stop, I'm like, oh God, what do I do here? It's like, oh, it's okay, don't worry, just take it. And she's about to tell me the direction, I have to go left to right, phone cuts out. And if you want an iPhone or anything, you know, it lasts a good 6 minutes for the battery, so it's horrible. So I'm at the light now, I'm freaking out, I don't know what the heck to do. I'm like, oh God, oh God, oh God. And I vaguely remember taking a left when we came here, so I'm like, you know, 2 lefts, they make a right? So I take a left, and eventually I just get on the highway. I'm nervous as heck. I'm like, oh God, what do I do? What else does a teenager do when he's nervous? Put on the radio, blast as loud as possible. Lucky for me, it was a 5003 run of Little Lion Man by Mumford & Sons, so I'm like, the heck with it. So drive down the highway, got me and Marcus Mumford playing the whole thing, you know. And if you've ever driven on 495 from New Hampshire to Massachusetts, you'll know about 30 minutes of the trip, you'll hit the toll booths. I was about 45 minutes into my trip, no toll booths. So I'm like, right now, I'm like, something's definitely wrong. I gotta check where I'm going. So I see this rest stop with McDonald's in it. I go around, I'm like, how can I be? Like, I don't want any food. Do you have an outlet? I'm like, yeah, we have one around here. I plug in my iPhone, I look it up, wait till it gets charged. Finally gets charged enough, and I look on the GPS. Instead of going south, where I would be going like home, I went about 45 minutes north, and I was almost in Maine. So that's how I learned the hard way to know where you're going when you first buy your car.
So I learned that sometimes it's good to be late. Most of you probably don't know this. I haven't lived here my whole life. I grew up in California and Michigan, and most of my family still lives in Michigan today. So every Christmas and every summer, we do a nice 14 to 16-hour car drive down to Michigan. So it started off the same way. We left normally later than we normally did. My mom was taking a while, but it's fine. We're going to get there either way. So if you've ever driven through Pennsylvania, parts of it can get really remote. Like you'll pass a gas station and you won't pass another one for 45 minutes. So it's 10:30 at night and we pass a gas station and our car's on empty, the light's on, so we need to get gas. We pull into the gas station, there's no one there. And it smells really bad. We figured like it was just like the town, like, I don't know. But it's like the smell of like sulfur. My dad gets out of the car and starts pumping the gas. It's like 10:30 at night, so my brother and I are like asleep, basically, in the back seat. And that's when 4 police cars came, like, and lights, sirens, and everything. And one of the policemen came up to my dad, and he said, I know you don't know what just happened here. No, he said, like, sir, do you have any idea what happened here? And my dad said, no, I don't. And he said, you're going to have to leave. And my dad kind of gave him a look like, I have to leave, like, right now. He didn't really understand what was happening. And the policeman told him that we had to leave right now. So my dad got back in the car, and by now, like, my brother and I had woken up, like, it was really loud. And my dad got back in the car. We'd only gotten, like, a quarter tank of gas, but that was enough for us to, like, get out of town. And we're driving, and we're about to pull out of the gas station, waiting to take a left to get back onto the highway, and we looked out the window, and we saw a body. The smell was a gunshot, and someone had been killed. So we didn't talk about it for the whole rest of the trip, but later that night when we finally got to Michigan, we talked to my mom, and we finally thanked her for the first time that being late actually was a good thing.
I'm Connor, and this is the first time I ever directed my own skit for Maudsley Was Haunted. Goblins. Goblins and ghouls. Goblins and ghouls and witches. Oh my! To make sense of any of this, I have to tell you about the first time I did Maudsley's Haunted by myself and just 2 friends. You see, for all those who don't know, Maudsley's Haunted is a thing where you go, so I collapsed to the ground. Kids would come over. There was one kid who kicked me to see if I was still alive. I was like, yeah, I'm still alive. So then the first group went, I got up, and they said, that was pretty good. I said, you're not the one wearing face makeup. So then at the end, I was walking home on the path, and I saw a couple seniors. There was James Morse and a couple of his friends. And they just looked at me like, and I was like, yeah, you're jealous, I know. I am in a dress, and you know. So that was the first time I directed my own scene at Maudsley's Haunted. Thank you.